Hey everybody, thank you all so much for tuning back in with our 66-day challenge. Luke did an amazing job with chapter 8 yesterday. There's also a sermon in the description box below if you would like to listen to a little bit more information on Acts chapter 8. But today, we're going to be on Acts chapter 9. And I think I need to give like a little bit of the background of Paul at the beginning. So if you look at Paul, he was actually first named Saul. He was from Tarsus. He was a tent maker. That's kind of what he did for a living. To the Jews, he was almost like an Elon Musk. He was a Hebrew of Hebrews. He studied under Gamaliel. That's what we read at in chapter 5. He spoke about, 3 to 5 different languages. He agreed with Stephen's death in the church in chapter 7. We know that he witnessed it as well. He was a well-known killer and a threat to the church, kind of like American Sniper reputation we see. He was very knowledgeable in the Old Testament law. In fact, he could probably quote most of the Old Testament. The point, though, that I'm trying to make is that though we see all of these different aspects of Paul, we know that both sides of the Paul needed to be saved. The religious side and the killer side. He had a background that he wasn't proud of, and he also grew up in church. And I think that speaks to both sides of the coin. It speaks to both people watching. Maybe you grew up in church. You need Jesus. Maybe you didn't grow up and you have a past that is you were so not proud of. You need Jesus. We go on to kind of see what happens right here in Acts chapter 9, and we see a story of a dude named Ananias, and Ananias is told, hey, look, you need to go and see this guy named Paul. And Ananias doesn't like that request from God. He's scared, he's fearful. He's like, oh, are you sure? Are you sure that's what but God, I thought that he killed other people. He was scared to go. But he went anyways. What that kind of applies to my life is that sometimes we're called to do things that are, they scare us, honestly. But we are still called to go. We're still called to speak. And we're still called to do what God has called us to do, even if they are fearful. And the last thing that I got from this passage is that Paul didn't wait 10 years to start preaching. He actually got saved, and then boom, the next, literally paragraph, he's preaching about what God had done for him. So that tells me that if we have a story of grace in our lives, then we have a story of grace to share. And I thought that was really cool. I think sometimes we get bogged down in, okay, well, let me pray for this. But I'm not saying that we shouldn't pray to go on missions or pray to do ministry or pray to evangelize to somebody. But what I am saying is God has already called us to go. He's already called us to share. So we should pray, God, help me as we go. Sometimes we use prayer as a cop-out not to do missions or not to speak or not to share our faith. But those are kind of some of the key aspects that I got out from chapter 9. I hope you got out yours as well. Please leave those comments or applications in the description box below. And we will see you next week, or actually tomorrow. We have a special guest with us that's going to be coming. So I'll let you see who that is tomorrow and the next day. So anyways, until next time, and I'll see y'all on chapter 12. Peace.